Welcome to the Stronger Than Steel podcast with your host, Austin Davidson and John Keir, talking Steelers all the time. Now, here's Austin and John.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stronger Than Steel podcast. Today is Season 5, Episode 27, and I am alone today. Due to some personal matters, it can only be me for today, but it should be John back for the next one, but we will see. But regardless, let's hop right in and talk about some Steelers news. First and foremost, former Steelers and Colts wide receiver Jimmy Orr has passed the age of 85. Orr held the Steelers' rookie receiving record for 59 years before it got broken. My condolences go out to his family and friends. He is a legend, so rest in peace. I just wanted to get that out first because I felt like it was the most important. Moving on to some other stuff. Steelers' Week 10 game against the Bengals has been flexed to 4/25, so adjust your schedules accordingly. Then, coming out of this game, the Steelers had some injuries in their game against the Titans. Chris Wormley went down with a knee injury that he needed to get an MRI on, but it seems like he avoided a major injury. It doesn't look good for next week, though, as he did not participate in practice on Wednesday or Thursday. Jordan Dangerfield left the game with a quad injury, and it appears it's going to knock him out of the Ravens game as well after not participating on Wednesday and Thursday. Then injuries outside the game. Ulysses Gilbert hurt his back in practice Wednesday and did not participate Thursday, so that's going to be something to monitor. Mike Hilton returned to practice on Thursday for the first time since his shoulder injury, logging a limited participation. And Derek Watt looked good on Wednesday. He had a full practice, but was demoted down to a limited practice on Thursday. So jury's out on him. Who knows what's going to happen with his hamstring injury. That thing kind of lingers, so I won't be surprised if he's held out again. But anyhow, let us talk about this game. What a game. Steelers win 27-24, and by the end of the week, by the end of Week 7, the Steelers were the last undefeated team in the NFL as the Seahawks fell to the Cardinals. It feels good. It feels good to be back on top, and it feels really nice. I mean, you have to keep. You can only enjoy it for so long. You have to keep looking forward. But for now, Steelers are the last undefeated team in the NFL, making them the best team in the NFL record-wise. But talk about the game. I'm going to talk about this as a tale of two halves because the first half was absolutely great. The second half, not so much. Not so much at all. So, the Steelers did something that they haven't done in 25 games, and they came out and scored a touchdown. This was after they elected to receive the opening kickoff. They knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to come out and punch the Titans in the mouth because they thought that if they could be aggressive and come out with the lead, that they could win this game, and it did work out in their favor. They started with the ball. They made a masterful drive downfield with everyone participating. Juju Smith-Schuster got going early. Deontay Johnson got going early. It was a really, really good drive. The only bad thing was that James Conner fumbled, but he got it back. But regardless, the Steelers were able to go down and score on a Deontay Johnson pass from Ben Roethlisberger for 11 yards, and that was a good start. Not only that, going into the next, after the kickoff, the Titans were forced to a 3-and-out immediately. They got a holding call that pushed them back pretty far. Then Derrick Henry gained nothing, and then Ryan Tannehill straight incomplete, and then they had to punt. Then it gets even better. Steelers come open for another 13-play drive after the first drive was 16. A 29-play drive altogether, and scored more points. Absolutely great play by, again, everyone. Everyone was getting involved on the play. Again, there was another fumble, but luckily it didn't matter. Again, the Steelers got lucky in that regard on these drives, but Benny Snell was able to drive it in, and one of the coolest things about this was, and the surprise about this game was Henry Mondeau was active and Isaiah Buggs was not, and that's because they had a whole plan for Henry Mondeau. Without Derek Watt, they used Mondeau as a fullback, and on that touchdown to Benny Snell, he blocked two people, allowing Benny Snell to get in. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So that was really cool to see, but all in all, it's just, again, this is a great team effort from everyone in this game. You even got to see Anthony McFarland get some more carries on that drive. So after the Steelers score, the Titans are finally able to get on the board as well. The next drive, they go and drive downfield. A.J. Brown gets his first catch of the game. It was for a while like his only catch. Then Henry Mondeau kind of messed things up. 3rd and 1, he got a encroachment call. And his game was up and down when he was playing. He didn't do really well on defense, but he got a lot of time on special teams, kind of playing like the old 99 and Brett Kiesel. He got to play there as well. And then just fullback. So it was up and down. Good as a fullback. Okay on special teams. Bad on defense. But yeah, the Titans were able to drive, and then Corey Davis was able to catch a almost wide open pass from Corey Davis. So scoring continues on the first 3 drives, and the Steelers then get the ball back, and they drive downfield to get a field goal. It was unfortunate because the Steelers actually got to pretty good field position right after gaining 18 yards from James Conner. They were at the Tennessee 43. But unfortunately, they weren't able to really make much out of it. They got a penalty on Jadeveon Clowney and brought them to 2nd and 5 at Tennessee 25, but they weren't. At Tennessee 20, but they weren't able to do anything after that, so they had to settle for a field goal. But at this point, they're still up 17-7, and then again, the defense is just playing so well. The 2-minute warning hit, and again, the Titans had a 3 and out, literally 3 plays, and then they were done. Had to punt. And then we got to see what was almost a Rodney McLeod touchdown. I said Rodney, Ray. I meant Ray McLeod touchdown. If he cut it to the right instead of the left, it would have been a touchdown, but still he got a return for 57 yards, bringing it all the way to the Tennessee 17. He only had the punter to beat. We think that he didn't realize it was the punter. I'm sorry, the kicker that was there. No, I'm sorry. I was right originally, the punter. We didn't think that he knew that the punter was there. We think he thought it was like another player, like a linebacker or something, because that's why he didn't cut right. But if he did, he would have been gone. It did not matter, though, because in 3 plays later, the Steelers scored a touchdown. Deontay Johnson gets his 2nd touchdown of the day, which I was elated about because I had him in fantasy. So it was really good. It was literally James Conner run, then 2 passes to Deontay Johnson. That was a touchdown on the 2nd one. So now it's getting even wilder. Tennessee has 38 seconds to go, and they still have 3 timeouts at this point, and they're about to drive downfield or try to, but they're stopped. 3 and out. Then Brett Brinkley fumbles on the ensuing punt that they were going to get. He fumbles, and it's recovered at the Tennessee 18. I'm sorry, at the Tennessee 32, and I'm sorry, excuse me. And then they turn it over, and it's the Steelers' ball. The Steelers get one more shot. It's 14 seconds left. They're at the Tennessee 32. Then, unfortunately, Eric Ebron gets a false start, which puts them at a 55-yard field goal. And then this is where it starts to go bad. Ben Roethlisberger, I understand this call. I know if John was on, he'd disagree. He chucks it downfield to Deontay Johnson trying to get a touchdown to end the half, and it's intercepted. And that ends the half for the teams. But I understand, but I think that what the Steelers should have done is trying to get a little bit closer so they could try for the field goal, because then you're talking about 27-7. The Titans get the ball at the beginning of half, so if they score, it would be 27-14 or 27-10, so which is still a really tough thing to come back, but you kind of want points when you're up that high. Like, you don't want to give them a chance to come back, but I understand the move. I understand just trying to end it there, trying to get more points and stuff, and just trying to keep going. But, I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out like there. So now we got to talk about the second half. The second half was a lot worse after the first two drives. So again, the Titans come out, they get the ball at half, 3 and out. Defense is still playing great at this point. Nothing to really talk about there. Steelers get the ball back at pretty good field position. They start at their own 34, then they get to the Tennessee 42, but unfortunately the drive stalls at the Tennessee 12, and the Steelers have to settle for a field goal. So they're up 27-7. This is where things go downhill. Titans get the ball back. 2 plays later, A.J. Brown, 73-yard pass from Ryan Tannehill. awful tackling by Minkah Fitzpatrick. He expected the ball to come on the other side of Vince Williams, and Vince Williams did not get his head around because Vince Williams could have had a pick. Ryan Tannehill, throughout the day, had been throwing so many interceptable balls. It was kind of crazy the Steelers didn't end this game with an interception because he had thrown so many balls that were dangerous. I counted 7 by the end of the game, where it's like those should have been intercepted. There's some that hit Steelers' hands that literally they should have gotten. There's some that he literally threw in such tight coverage that I don't know how a Steeler didn't touch it, and that was one of them. Vince Williams literally just didn't get his head around, but that ball was put like right next to his right arm. Unfortunately, because of that, he's not able to tackle A.J. Brown and and then Minkah Fitzpatrick makes a bad play, and then A.J. Brown is able to get that 73-yard pass. So now we're at 27-14. Then the offense starts to struggle. You see the Steelers go 3 and out. They're not able to get anything done, and it's 27-14, and they have to punt. By the way, Jordan Berry, wow, I can't speak. Jordan Berry's punting in this game was actually really solid. He had a 49-yard punt there to get them to the Tennessee 19. And the defense was still playing actually pretty solid here because they forced another 3 and out. Like, it really felt this was like almost the offense's to lose. The offense almost lost it for the team because of how bad they started playing. But yeah, they forced another 3 and out, and they start their drive. It's only 4 plays, and Ben Roethlisberger throws an interception. It wasn't the worst interception. It wasn't great either. It was tipped in the air, which Ben Roethlisberger has a lot of tipped passes this year, but I can't really say much about it. I mean, a tipped pass, what can you do? Those happen. Matt Fowler was able to tackle the Titan before he was able to return the ball at all, so I guess that was okay, but it led straight to Tennessee points after 4 plays. So now it's 27-17, and Tennessee is scoring really, really fast. And the third quarter isn't even over yet. It's 2 minutes and 55 seconds left with only down by 10 points. That's not a lot. And to make matters worse, the Steelers only get a 5-play drive in next, and they convert 1 first down, and that's it. And then they have to punt. And James Pierre is tagged for unnecessary roughness, taking what would have been a great punt from Jordan Berry. It was 50 yards to the Tennessee 10 and brings it up to the Tennessee 15, I believe. Tennessee 30. So it was unfortunate, and then they're able to score again. Now it's 27-24 after a long 12-play drive. Now Steelers have a chance to end this. Steelers, they're making their first offensive drive that's actually promising in a while. It gets all the way down the field. They are at the Tennessee 19. They're guaranteed points, so they can take the point, even if they don't get the pass, even if they don't convert here in 3rd and 12. It's 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the 4th. 3rd and 12, they're at the Tennessee 19. Unfortunately, Ben Roethlisberger throws my personal worst interception. I know that John would disagree, and he might comment on Twitter about this stuff, but that was awful to me. I understand that it was Juju against the linebacker and you got to take that, but you have to understand the game situation as well. It looked like triple coverage when you were watching, but it wasn't. It was just the way he threw a bad ball. It really wasn't. The choice wasn't a bad choice. It was how bad the ball. He didn't give Juju really a chance. It got deflected and then picked on a tip drill. So now the Steelers are only up by 3 with over 2 minutes to go. The Titans had the 2-minute warning and everything. Luckily, the last drive of the game, Tennessee drives down the field, gets all the way down to Pittsburgh 28. It's 4th and 13. The Steelers are able to stop them. 45-yard field goal. Luckily, Gostkowski misses it. It's no good. Steelers win. No more time left on the clock. Kind of a crazy game. It was a tale of 2 halves. And just some general thoughts on this game is that I thought that both Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster did really well in this game. I thought that they were great. I thought that the run defense was great. I know that Derrick Henry finished with 75 yards, but he basically did nothing in that game up until the second half. James Conner kind of outperformed him, at least in yards per carry. But, some other stuff is that Ray McLeod, I was so close on that bold prediction. He would have had almost would have had the 3 touches and everything, but it was just a little bit far off on my bold prediction that he was going to get a return touchdown of some kind in this game and 3 touches. Other than that, the fumbles were a little bit of a concern, but it never came back to bite the Steelers. What really came back to bite them, it's the interceptions. The defense not being able to intercept the ball despite playing really well all game also hurt the Steelers because there were so many times that Tannehill was just testing them, and it was really bothering me that they weren't able to finish this game with that. Then on the offensive side, I want to talk about the offensive line play. They didn't allow a sack this game, and Ben Roethlisberger threw 49 times. Not allowing a sack on 49 attempts. I know the Titans' pass rush we talked about being weak, but I still find that impressive. 49 times, you're starting Chukwuma Okorafor at right tackle, who wasn't supposed to be starting there, and that's a really great thing. Ben Roethlisberger's day was, speaking of him, was okay at the end of the day. I know he threw 3 picks, but it's not the end of the world. It wasn't terrible. One pick was a tip drill. One was at the end of the half, just trying to get a touchdown at the end. So not too bad there. But yeah, overall it was a pretty solid team game. They almost blew it, but hey, they were able to do great in this game. And Vince Williams had a game. And also, Robert Spillane had like the shot heard around the world on tackling Derrick Henry at the 1 yard line, meeting him in the middle. You heard that shot on TV. That was really, really cool. I thought Spillane, his first time playing, did really well, especially having the green dot. So I was excited for him to do well. It's next man up mentality. But yeah, I think that's really all I had to say for this game. So with that said, I'll move on to just the pick'ems and talk about it really quickly. We already talked about Giants and Eagles, Lions and Falcons. We kind of expected it. It made some of the funniest memes ever because Todd Gurley scored a touchdown when he shouldn't have, because it could have won the Falcons the game. Then the Lions were able to drive downfield and beat them, and it's so funny. There's just so many memes. There's Lions players trying to say touchdown for Todd Gurley, which is so it's so funny, just funny to look at. But yeah, that was a good meme game. Browns, Bengals, Baker Mayfield started really bad, but came back and just really lit them up. He really was the second half player, and I thought that his touchdown at the end was crazy. It was really good. Good for him for battling back. Panthers and Saints, typical NFC South game. I feel like the Panthers always keep it close to the Saints. I don't really have much else to say there. Bills at Jets. So after talking about saying I wasn't sure if the Jets would actually cover a football game this year, they actually cover. They keep it within 10, and Bills only win 18-10 in this game. The Jets offense actually looked decent for the first time because Adam Gase gave up play calling, and they had Denzel Mims back. So maybe there is hope for them. After all, they're still not winning a game, though. But without Adam Gase calling plays, it looked good for about a quarter. Then you have the Cowboys at the football team. Washington absolutely demolished Dallas. Dallas is in a bad spot. They're now down Andy Dalton. He got a concussion, a really bad concussion that got John Bostic, former Steelers player, ejected. It was really, really bad. I'm surprised he didn't get a suspension, but yeah. Cowboys might not win another game this year because their defense is so bad. Ezekiel Elliott, their one good player, isn't producing really, and now you don't have a quarterback to throw to your other good players, which are your wide receivers. So it's going to be tough for the Cowboys going forward. Packers at Texans. The Packers were able to cover the spread. I don't actually have much to say about that game. Bucks at Raiders. That was an interesting game because people thought that the Raiders could be competitive, and I thought maybe so too. But I still picked this. The line was only 4.5. Like, that was ridiculously low to me. The Bucks gave them a whooping. Chiefs at Broncos. Drew Lock hoped to make it a rivalry for once, and it was not. The Chiefs covered and blew them out. 49ers at Patriots. That was an interesting game because the Patriots got absolutely torn apart. It was a really bad play from Cam Newton, and just overall the Patriots just don't look good. They're definitely not the Patriots at all. Seahawks at Cardinals. What a great game. That game was great from start to finish. Those games are always wild, and we talked about it. We talked about how those games are always wild, and it was just so good. Kyler Murray is so good. Russell Wilson actually struggled for like the first time this year. He threw multiple picks, and they were bad picks, and he must have nightmares of Arizona Stadium after throwing a pick in the Super Bowl there. But yeah, Arizona was able to come away with the win, and Kyler Murray looks solid again. Bears at Rams, we both called that line disrespectful, and then the Bears were like, no, we're just trash. So the Rams were able to beat them. And yeah, that wraps up around the NFL. Then just a little bit of NFL news. First, Odell Beckham is out for the year with a torn, I believe, Achilles. It might be an ACL, though. I forgot to write it down, but he is out for the year. Then Carlos Dunlap has been traded to the Seahawks for a 7th-round pick and former Steelers center B.J. Finney. So overall, that's a good trade for both. Dunlap was unhappy and hardly playing. Bengals needed O-line depth, and Seahawks needed a pass rush help desperately. We're not even playing Finney, so it's a win-win for both teams. Maybe a little bit, not a lot of compensation for Dunlap, but I think that overall it's a good choice for both teams. Then similar to what happened to the Raiders last week against the Buccaneers, Giants had an outbreak among their offensive line with all but 4 linemen coming in close contact with the one that tested positive. All but 4 are quarantining currently. Their game is Monday night also against the Buccaneers for some odd coincidence, but yes, hopefully that extra day gives them time to get their offensive linemen, because that's going to be crazy if they only have 4 linemen that they could play. They're going to have to elevate, they're going to have to do some magic if that happens. Luckily, the Raiders were able to get away with it last week. They were able to clear protocol. So then Cowboys have traded defensive end Everson Griffin to the Lions for a 2021 6th-round pick. Not much to say there. Everson Griffin was unhappy. The Dallas Cowboys were unhappy with his play, and they just got rid of him for cheap. He gets to play against his former team immediately because of the Lions. He's going to be eligible to play against when the Lions play the Vikings. Then thinking of trades, there's a bunch of names on the trade market to watch out for this year. Deion Jones, Stephon Gilmore, Will Fuller, Tack McKinley, Quentin Williams are just some of the players floated around a few times this week. The division to watch is the AFC East. The Patriots and Jets are both sound like they're going to a fire sale. The Jets have been outright about it. The Patriots said basically anyone is available for the right price just today. So that is something to consider. But that should wrap it up for this edition of the Stronger Than Steel podcast. If you have any questions, I'll leave our social media, email, and other places you can contact us in the description below. And everybody, have a great day.
You have been listening to Stronger Than Steel podcast. Thank you for joining us today, and don't forget to check out our website listed in the description below.